Eagles are stocked, locked, and ready for.
Get ready for a shakedown. Prepare for a shakedown. From Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down.
You never have issues with this.
No, I know, but I keep drawing a blank. Like, what are we gonna? Okay, all right, you ready?
I'm ready.
So the Eagles are stocked, locked, and ready for. The Eagles are loaded, is what we're trying to say. The Eagles roster, one of the greatest all seasons in history that I can remember. Joey Shakes, how are you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm getting ready for training camp. Getting ready.
Getting ready. It's almost time. We are getting closer and closer. The days are slowly going by. But listen, man, we got a lot of talent on this team. We got a lot of young talent on this team, both sides of the ball. Who do you think are some of the guys that you think could be breakout players? Who's going to break out this year? Or what? How many? What do you think?
I think one guy I'm kind of looking at this year is Hassan Reddick. I think was a total steal in price and will bring that edge benefit to our defense, especially our defensive line that needs it badly. Josh Sweat having, I think, 7 sacks last year. Barnett was probably, one of the worst signings we didn't really like, probably the worst signing of the offseason. But I think, Reddick, 23 and a half sacks in 2 seasons. If Gannon doesn't have this guy at 10-plus sacks this year, it's going to be a problem. Going to be a big problem.
Oh, I totally agree, man. I think it's a gigantic problem if he doesn't have double-digit sacks. He's had double-digit sacks on 2 different teams. He should be able to come to Philly and do it. What would you say? Like, what do you think in terms of total sack-wise? Like, you think he's like his floor is like 10? What's his ceiling? Like, what range do you think he needs to be in or will be in?
I think if Gannon doesn't really play as this defense as good as he should and use these guys in the right position to win football games, I think maybe it is 10, maybe 9 or 10 sacks. But if he really starts moving these guys around and he lines up Reddick the right way, I think he can have 14, maybe 15 sacks this year. I mean, it's a monster year.
That's a huge year, man. That would be a huge year, especially if you can get sacks and pressure from guys like Josh Sweat and then Brandon. If they can be in that 7 and 9 range and then he's getting 12 to 14, 15 sacks, this is going to be one nasty, nasty, nasty defense, man. It really is because it's all predicated on that defensive line, And I'll tell you what. Speaking of guys that I really I think could have a big year, especially defensive side ball. I think this is a make or break year for Josh Sweat, man. I think this could be the year that he takes that next step. I thought he finished the year last year really strong before he got sick or whatever he had happened to him.
Right.
I forget what it was exactly, but he started slow. He kind of finished well. So I kind of expect him to have possibly a breakout year. You know what I'm saying? Another guy, was a guy we drafted, Nakobe Dean. I think Nakobe Dean needs to be an impact starter, man, day one. I want him starting day one and playing, man, because I think that his upside is tremendous,
Yeah, I think another thing to him is, he keeps not only himself accountable, but keeps other players accountable as well, because he'll make the calls like we thought. I don't think they're even transitioning him to middle linebacker. I think he is the middle linebacker. I think that's what they want him to be. And he had a little comment the other day on winning multiple Super Bowls, for the Eagles and wants to bring a couple championships. So I like these pushback, these pushback mentality with some of these guys. And Kobe Dean is, a guy that wasn't supposed to be in the 3rd round. What happened in that draft when, all these crazy injury rumors were going around and who starred them and what happened? Yeah. And the Eagles ended up getting him, and that was just a pure steal. You got a top 17 player pretty much in the 3rd round. It's crazy of what this kid can do.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys, that could potentially have big years. Another guy we could look out for is Marcus Epps, because Epps a lot of people think he's only getting better. He's young. In terms of breakout, like when I define breakout, I guess I'm not just talking about guy being like an all pro or something like that, but like cementing himself as a legitimate like starter on his team, or a contributor that is really valuable, and I think Epps is going to have that opportunity this year, man. I really do.
Yeah, I feel like they've been comfortable with him this whole time, and we know that they tried going after Marcus Williams. I think they just tried adding another star. I think they tried getting a starter, because I think, because when I thought about Epps even before last year, I thought he was a good, like, number 3 safety, role-playing safety in a good defense that's built well around him. So I think they feel real comfortable, and I think because I was fine with just having him, and I'm totally fine with that, but we needed depth behind it, and obviously the Jaquiski Tart sign kind of helped that a little bit, so, whether he's going to, rise up or he's going to stay as a depth piece for that safety spot. So Marcus Epps is probably a maker, a deal breaker for us this year if he really pans out.
No doubt about it. Now, I mean, look, when you talk about breakout players, I guess the first name that could come to mind is Jalen Hurts. Like, we need Jalen Hurts to go out and play well. If we have any chances here, he's got to go out and play well. And I think he's going to. Like I've said, I really expect him to be like 25 plus touchdowns passing, another 7 to 10 rushing, dude. I really do, And if he does that, Joey, I think the biggest breakout player this year is going to be DeVonta Smith. I think DeVonta Smith is going to be the guy who really breaks out this year. I think Quez Watkins has a great opportunity too, but I think when it's all said and done and the season is over and we're looking at these guys' statistics, I think people are going to say, A.J. Brown's great. He's good. DeVonta Smith is the best receiver on this team. I think he's going to lead in catches and in receiving yards.
Yeah. I mean, you could look at DeVonta Smith and say, hey, you know what? If you have him on the outside, you have the A.J. Brown on the other side, and you have a guy in A.J. Brown that can contest catches, that get the yak yards, that's going to get a lot of attention, which I think that the number one corner will be on him beginning of the season. I think teams are going to start to lean on putting that number one corner on DeVonta Smith later on. He'll get more attention. I thought that A.J. Brown would get more catches and DeVonta Smith will have more yards, and he should have 1,100 yards because having under 1,000 last year was just a total disgrace. And how they used him. I think all of this, breakout players offensively, is going to depend on Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen, play design, route combinations. What players are you opening, what guys are you trying to get open in your offense? Who are you going to use as your number one? So I think that's going to be, it's going to depend on this coaching staff to have these guys be successful wide receiver wise. So.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, DeVonta Smith was good last year. He didn't get enough opportunities, but I mean, we've all seen, especially all the tapes in the off season where they've shown how open he was game after game after game. And yes, they're going to have A.J. Brown, and I think they throw a little more, but I think especially early in the year, A.J. Brown is going to get the top corner. He's going to get all the attention, and I think that's going to allow DeVonta Smith to blossom. And I think what's going to happen at some point, teams are going to say, We can't leave DeVonta Smith alone like that. We got to give him more attention, and I think you're going to see it flip. But he is my number one breakout guy this year when I think about it, man. He really is.
Yeah, and I got another one for you too. I think Miles Sanders. I think that's another one we could think about because coming off injury last year and not even having a touchdown last year. Right. This is a contract year this year. Like we don't even know what's going to happen to him. Like there's nothing promising about the Eagles paying a running back the way this offensive line is being built right now. So I don't know what your thoughts about Miles Sanders is and just what you think he's going to do this year, and if he does well enough, do you think the Eagles are actually going to pay him?
Yeah, well, I think Miles is going to have 1,200 yards on the ground. I think he's going to have 8 to 10 touchdowns. I think he's going – and listen, we're talking about a lot of numbers, right? 25 touchdown plus for Jalen Hurts and DeVonta Smith have a big year. I think this is a explosive offense. I think they're going to play explosive. I think this is a team that could be one of the highest scoring teams in the National Football League. I do think Miles Sanders – after having no touchdowns last year, injury bug, contract year, I think he goes out. I think he has at least 1,200 yards, maybe like 7, 8, 9 touchdowns, and then they let him go because they can't afford him. And it's very hard for me to want to pay a running back, dude. It just is, you know.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna have a big year, man.
I agree.
You know.
I totally.
So
agree.
yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Camp is getting closer and closer, and let us know in the comments section who you guys think who's your breakout players for the Eagles, offensively, defensively, rookies. We would love to hear it, and hang in there because July 23rd, the Philly Shakedown podcast season 2 is back, and you get to look at. Many people think I'm just not Denzel Washington, but it's Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson with our own podcast. So there's that too. Anything else you got to say on the way out, my man?
Oh, that's it. I mean, I'm excited for training camp. I'm excited to see these competition, these battles we're going to have, and obviously the scrimmage with Miami. So it's going to be a lot to look forward to. So I'm excited.
And we'll be talking about some camp battles, position battles on offense and defense this upcoming week. So you guys look for that. With that said, take care. We will talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat.
And don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes Philly Shakedown.
Let's go.